Here are 10 common mistakes that you should avoid in Squad Busters. Chasing for the bust. Not really, like when you're chasing someone so you can bust. Doing that really early in the game is terrible. While you were chasing someone for 30 plus seconds to get like 5 gems or gold, you could have used all that time to farm so much more. A whole lot more than what they're gonna drop at the beginning of the game. When the match begins, no one has loot, so there's not much of a reason to fight. Occasionally, someone will attack you, and of course that is completely different than picking a fight, but at least you know that they're also wasting their time. By the way, I think I made it clear, but I'm only talking about the beginning of the game. Personally, after like a minute or so, I'll start heading closer to the middle, but everyone's playstyle is different. Just don't waste your time and turbos chasing someone at the start of the game. Buying back into high streaks. Streaks are very good in this game. If you win matches with a streak, you get more taps in the chest, and that could mean a much better box rarity or simply more characters. But the game never tells you this, by the way, but the bonus you get from the streaks are capped at the 10th one. If you reach a streak of 10, good job, but anything after that is just redundant, and buying back into it will cost way more but give you the same rewards. A lot of the time, people buy back into really high streaks because they either don't know or it's just a personal accomplishment to get to a certain number. But if you're looking to get more rewards, I would take the L and start over. It's the smartest thing you could do. Taking on bosses too big. Okay, how many times has everyone done this? You go attack a boss in the middle of the map and it takes forever to drain its HP. 5, 10, 15 seconds go by and then someone swoops in and steals your kill right before the boss goes down. Yeah, all of this could have been avoided if you didn't go for bosses that are too challenging. Now, I don't really have an exact answer on when's the best time, but if your boss is taking longer than you thought or longer than is comfortable for you, it's best to just walk away. Generally, I walk away if it takes longer than like, I don't know, 10 seconds, and even that is a stretch. It really depends on the boss too, like some of them do a lot of damage, and if you're standing right in front of them for so long, it will start to take out your squad. I feel like this is one of the more obvious tips I could give, but I see players getting busted this way all of the time. They focus all of their time, turbo, and spells on one boss, and then someone else busts them. But hey, if you're having fun, it doesn't really matter. Just try and be realistic on how long it will take to kill that monster you're eyeing. Ignoring synergy. Synergy is basically when you combine 2 or more things to achieve a greater effect, and ignoring this in Squad Busters is probably the reason you aren't busting more. It's very important to read the descriptions of the characters and learn what they do. For example, the Archer Queen buffs long-range shooters with more attack speed, so it is smart to pair that with something like a Colt. The Barbarian King boosts the speed of melee characters' attacks, so pair that up with melee characters like Barbarians or Primo. Also, I'm sure you've heard this next one, but the trader with the goblin. The trader gives 3 gems for every 15 coins, and the goblin gives you coins. As you can see, synergy in Squad Busters is important. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care about it half of the time, but when I see the opportunity to do so, like if I already have tons of Colts and I pull an Archer Queen from a chest, it'd be really dumb to not take the opportunity. It can be the difference between 5th and 1st place. Not fusioning. You may have noticed that the price of the chests go up during a match. However, it's not super obvious what exactly is making the price go up, but to sum it up, it's essentially the amount of characters you have in your squad. So if you aren't focused on getting fusions when you can, your squad will just keep growing, and so will the price of the chest. You'll quickly run into an issue where the chests are costing way more than you can afford, so your squad isn't growing as fast as it needs to be, and sooner or later you're at like 10th place because you couldn't keep up. No matter what character you're trying to use, fusion will always be an essential part of succeeding in the match. And you'll hear a lot of people say stuff like, you don't need a fusion Greg, for example. That is really terrible advice. If you use Greg a lot, you know that a fusion Greg will one-shot trees. Why wouldn't you, Fusion? In this game, you're literally fighting against the clock, and fusions not only make farming faster, but also makes chess cheaper. Buying characters and keys. Okay, I'm gonna be real, this won't really matter so much if you're a free-to-play player. If you're trying to progress fast and upgrade your characters faster, buying them in the shop is not the way to go. It is much more efficient to buy chess keys and keep playing, especially if you have a decent streak going. The characters in the shop cost way too much for how much you're getting, and I know it can be tempting to clear the shop, but sooner or later you'll run out of gold and wish you never did that. Personally, the only time I buy something from the shop is when I see that it's gonna go to the next evolution. It'll have a star next to it so you know which one it is. And sometimes I just can't pass up the opportunity. The same applies to keys and megas. I mean, don't buy them. They're abundant in this game, and most of the time you don't even need them unless you're really competitive. And megas, they're not even that relevant right now. But at the end of the day, it's just a game and you can do whatever the hell you want. Playing too aggressively. Okay, I consider myself a pretty aggressive player. I actively engage in fights for that number one if I have to, but it's important to not get carried away and know where to draw the line. Being overly aggressive will get you busted sometimes, and I don't know about you, but I'd rather tone it down a bit than lose my streak. I always see it this way: as long as I'm keeping my streak, there's no need to sacrifice it all. With that being said, I'm terrible at listening to my own advice. I'm a pretty aggressive player, and that gets me killed all of the time. I'm still having a blast though. Fighting unprepared. Needing to fight is inevitable in this game, and you will need to know how to do it better, or at least defend yourself successfully. A general rule of thumb is to have 3 essential items: a spell, turbo, and a squad that looks bigger than the one you're trying to attack. Spells can dramatically change the results here, like a heal, rage, freeze. They can help a lot, especially at defending yourself. Throwing like a freeze or bomb at someone can help you escape. Turbo is also very good for both scenarios. You'll need to make your attacks faster and also to outrun another player. And hey, if you need to use an emergency key, go ahead. I've done it before. Usually fusion keys are great comebacks, but it's important not to rely on them as you won't always have keys available. Anyways, like I said, be prepared, have a spell and a turbo ready. Avoiding the middle. This really depends on your playstyle, as if you're mostly a passive player, maybe you don't need to go to the middle to win. It also greatly differs between game modifiers, but if you like to beat up monsters and players, the middle is where the party's at, homie. Obviously though, it's a great idea to be prepared. You have to make sure you have a decently sized squad, at least several fusions by then. But every match is different. There's no need to avoid the center of the map like the plague. Some players will chill in the outskirts and just never improve their fighting skills. Like I said, everyone's playstyle is different, but if you're hunting monsters and small squads in the outskirts, you might as well aim for the middle too. There's a lot of gems and gold laying around. It's chaotic and fun, and pretty easy to get first place if you just head to the middle. Moving while attacking. This may be pretty obvious, I mean, duh, the tutorial tells you this. But surprisingly, I still see a lot of people trying to attack and move, especially when trying to get closer to you. They do this stop, move motion, and it's just terrible for your squad's ability to fight. Every time you move that joystick, you hurt your chances of beating your enemy. It's best to stay still even if they move. Don't chase them. Your troops are still gonna shoot while they walk away, and you can get some extra shots on them. When they're far enough, then chase them. And if you get closer and they stop, you have to stop as well. Under no circumstances will your squad attack while you're moving the joystick all over the place. It's a double-edged sword though. When you're trying to run away from someone, you can't attack, so it makes sense why people try to do the stop and go motion. Simply put, it's natural to want to move your joystick, but it may be the difference between succeeding or getting busted. But yeah, that wraps it up. Those are 10 common mistakes that you should avoid, and after watching this video, I'm not saying you'll be a pro or anything, but at least not a noob. Hopefully, I don't know, I may be giving bad advice. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a gaming outs. Peace!